What's up? This is Draco.
And this is Alicia.
And you're now tuned in to OD
OD
Podcast.
Podcast. Period. This is Sparky Palantry.
Oh my
Palastry.
gosh.
What was
Let me
it?
tell you
Prepare
something
for.
about that. So I feel like since I was a kid, I've been watching shows that's been about California or I guess located in California. I was driving the other day and I just happened to look at this man's tag and he got his car from I guess a Lexus or Benz dealership, whatever car was, but it was in Rancho Cucamonga. I was like,
Oh,
bruh,
snap. The Cucamonga Cracker
yo,
Killers.
okay.
Oh, that's.
Well, I was thinking more so bring it on, and they ain't
Yeah,
say
you
that.
were. You know what? I always wonder if those places was real because all the high schools like aged movies was in the same. It was either in Crenshaw or Rancho Cucamonga.
Yeah, like it would be like all the yeah. I
Dang, I'm
always run
offended
into
now thinking
places.
about Crenshaw. I feel like Moesha did Crenshaw justice, but all the other stuff is negative.
I feel like a lot of them shows did LA justice because even Santa Monica. I thought that Santa Monica was ghetto because of the Parkers, but it's not. Not
Well,
to
what about
me.
Lamert Park?
Lamert Park is gentrified.
Okay, so it
It's
was
still
good.
black. It's still black over there. It's very black over there. But it is in the process of being gentrified along with Inglewood.
Inglewood.
hmm But they all
I
like
went
right
to
there.
Randy's Donuts in Inglewood, and I stayed at the Holiday Inn over there.
I
That's
seen it when
bad.
I did that video with Bambi a few weeks ago. I seen the Randy's over there.
Yeah, I quick story. So one time, this is when I was living in the Bay Area. I had took a weekend trip to LA and I had booked the Airbnb. Airbnb was not what I expected. Only time that was my first time ever booking with Airbnb, and I booked a shared room, not a shared room, basically a room in a house. But that was a terrible idea. I just I don't know what I thought. Anyway, long story short, it ended up being a terrible situation. So I went and got myself a hotel instead and
hmm
was like, I'm gonna figure out the rest later. But the closest and best deal I could find was a Holiday Inn Express close. I don't even know this. It was in Inglewood. I don't even think it was close to the airport. I can't remember. But I didn't really have a lot of time to do stuff because I actually was landing and going straight to work that next morning. So I was just tired. So I just went to Randy's Donuts and then I was like, all right, well I did something. But I wish that I would have went down to the dunes because I don't think I was too far.
Oh yeah, they sold it. It's still up. The sign is still up, but they're selling the dunes or they sold it. It was a for sale sign when I went last time.
I should have bought it.
You
I
should
wonder if
have.
the show make it be worth more because I remember when Medea's house went up for sale on Avon, and it wasn't. Was looking back, I think that house might have been like $300,000. I wish I could have bought it because I promise you I would have bought it. I remember thinking like, would I live there or would I rent it out? But you wouldn't live
You
there.
don't want to live in a place like that because out here,
A lot of visitors.
yeah, because somebody actually lives in the house that was on Friday, and people come to their
Oh,
house
and
all the time.
you know what's funny? Lawana had I think it was Lawana who recently posted a picture in one of them houses from that movie. And I was like, I would be so irritated if I lived there. And it just made me think about too, when I was living in the Bay Area, I went to the house that Steve Jobs basically invented Appleette. And
hmm
it's kind of the same way. They don't allow you on the lawn. They don't mind taking pictures and stuff like that, but you can't get close. But you're right though. But you know what? That made for a good Airbnb, not for me to live in.
Yeah, I would never live in no popular place like that. I actually starting to hate my apartments because people are noticing where I live at. Like people keep DMing me, asking me,
Well, you post
um,
a patio picture, all you need, honey. I know everybody in
which
Atlanta
I,
stay at.
which I understand, and it's my fault, so I'm not mad at it. But I think that it's weird that people, because LA is so big and there's so many different places to live at, and I get it. You know somebody, so you trying to like go somewhere familiar. But for
Mhm.
me, I think that it's just so weird. I barely even like roommating with people. So somebody that I don't really know like that asking me about where I live at because they're trying to move in the same building as me is so weird. I don't want to see you in the elevator unless it's organic. Like if you just found this place on your own or whatever, fine. But I don't know. I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
I get what you're saying, but I can't. I think that if I was looking for a place, I would probably do the same thing. But note it, okay? Say
Mm-mm.
less.
That's just me. I don't know. I feel like it's. an invasion of privacy, even though you're not in my actual
Does
apartment.
it depend on who the person is, or you just feel like that
Um,
in general? Because what if
yeah, and that just may be me, and whatever. But I think that it's in general. I mean, if it was somebody like you, I wouldn't care. Like,
don't
depending on
try
how
cleaning up
close we
now. I ain't
were.
moving to your apartments or wherever you
No,
live.
I know, but I'm just saying, if it's somebody close to me, like a family member or a close friend, yes, I would not mind that. But
Yeah.
um, no, like if we just follow each other on Instagram, you don't even know my first name for real.
Oh, see, if they don't know you, that's one thing. I'm thinking you saying just like people
Like
in
we
general.
cool. It'll be somebody that we've like worked with, like I've worked with before, like a hairstylist I've worked with or a stylist. I don't want to be too specific, but
I get what you're saying. So like you, it's almost yeah. This is one of the reasons why I used to be anti neighbors. I never wanted to know my neighbors because I feel like once people start getting on your nerves and they're your neighbors, you can't get rid of them until one of y'all move. Like you stuck for
hmm
life. So I feel like if somebody moves in a place where, so I get what you're saying. Like if they move in your building, now y'all got something in common. Now they might ask for little stuff, want to link up, and now you can't really avoid them because they know where you stay. But I think that in general, up front, it might not be what they plan. It's just more of a like, I need to find somewhere, and if
hmm
Draco like it, then it must be good. So I'm gonna just,
which I get. But I think for me, it's just like because okay, say for instance, it's this building has a lot of different like Instagram people that live in this building, and
hmm
so there's a very popular Instagram comedian that lives in my building on the top floor, and so I
the
know
girl.
it's a dude.
Oh, okay, never mind. Oh,
Uh,
who? Okay,
yeah,
who I'm thinking?
I don't know.
Um,
Yeah.
okay, got it.
Um, and so you see how I
Let
told
me go
you
to his
that.
page.
You see how I told you that. Now,
Yeah.
I'll say, oh, so and so live in my building, whatever. And then I know that if I tell y'all, it's not nothing like that. But people be having like meaningless conversations, and then, oh, so and so live in my building on this floor.
Yeah, that's actually a security issue because I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. I don't know
Whatever.
if I mean I don't think I've ever like tried to live where somebody else live, but I've also lived in an area. I live in a city where I know exactly where I want to be, so I'm just gonna drive around till I find it. But I can
Yeah.
definitely understand that. And you know what? People act so weird about celebrities, man. Oh my god, I don't even want to get on that point. I think that people just I get it. It's unreal to believe that you're around this person or that you might have some kind of access to this person. But calm your titties. Like Jesus.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I don't know. I just think that's weird, but that could just be me because I'm a very paranoid person. Not I wouldn't even call myself paranoid, but I'm a very cautious person,
hmm
especially with me living in a city like this. Well, I don't really have family or friends here for real. Like I have friends, but not as close as I did back at home.
Yeah, I
And
get it.
you know what I'm saying. And then I have no family here, so I just have to be extra 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 cautious, and just for my sanity and my personal preference, I just prefer not to disclose that information. And I hope it doesn't come off as rude. One person did like I was just I think I was just in like I was so annoyed at it, so I was kind of rude to them when they asked me, but I apologize. But I don't know, I don't like that.
I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about the situation because I get it. I'm not tripping off of what you're saying. I guess I just
Yeah,
never thought about it. But it's like almost, what if people are asking not so they can move, just so they can get information about you? You know what I'm saying?
it's so many different things that could
It's
be
right. And
going
so the
on.
only way for you to really know if they're being genuine or not is if you just knew that they were seriously looking for a place. You know them like that. You vetted them. But in reality, I get what you're saying. And once they know where you live, that's where you live.
Yeah.
And all they
And
gotta do
so
is hang around till you come through the lobby.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like it's very weird. I don't know.
But I know a lot of people in Atlanta, they be posting they from their patio, and I always know exactly where they live just based off the position, based on the buildings in the background. And a lot of y'all stay in the same buildings, which is funny.
Yeah.
But even when they
But
talk about
that's how it is in LA too, because so many people stay downtown. So even if they don't stay in my building, they stay
mhm,
in somewhere.
their proximity, and sometimes
Yeah.
I mean, and this coming from somebody that's very nosy. I'm not gonna say very, but I am nosy. But sometimes when people post the specific stores they go to, even the car wash, I know where they stay at because they always go there. I'm like, oh, I know it. I know it. I mean, even it's some YouTubers that I've watched before, and I recognize the Kroger they in because I used to stay over there. I said, oh, I know. So they must stay. You know what I'm saying? You could the process of elimination for real. And I know people ain't going on their way to go to a store across town just so people don't be in their business. They just finna go where they go. So that's why I had stopped posting stuff. I stopped posting stuff in real time. I stopped posting stuff in general because I just don't want nobody. I don't even like posting. I know I said this before, but when I post inside my house, it's the same spot. It's always the kitchen floor facing away from the refrigerator. Same
Yeah.
spot every time. I just don't want nobody there.
I
No.
don't post in real time. I definitely post after. Like, um, when I was in Houston, I went out. I definitely was posting in real time. But no, I wasn't. I posted it after. I posted
And
it
see,
after.
I especially when I'm out of town. I when I posted that
By the
Usher, honey,
time
I
I
was
posted that stuff, I was at the airport.
when I posted them Usher pictures, honey, I had done landed, slept, missed a day of work, and then matter of fact, what I just posted today, that was last night.
Yeah.
But whatever. Do people do as they please, but unfortunately it is easy to find stuff. But I know we already had an episode about that, so we're gonna move on to the black business of the week. All right, y'all. So I don't know if I shouted out this black business before, and if I have, it was a long time ago. But I know last week we talked about a black owned nail shop, but I also want to talk about a childhood friend of mine or of ours. Her name is Kiera, and she's a nail tech, and her Instagram page is nailed by underscore KP. And she actually does a really. I remember when she first started doing nails, and I remember seeing them. I'm like, dang, she actually fire, and she done stuck to it. And I mean, really get. I see people tag her all the time, and I'm like, dang, how they know Kiera? But then I have to realize, like, does she? You know what I'm saying? Is a nail tech, but she does really cool designs, really nice patterns, real good textures and shapes, and all that good stuff. So I have not had my nails done by her. I know I always say that I prefer to share businesses that I patronize, but I know some people that go to her regularly. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and tell y'all to go too. Because I'm a press on kind of girl. But I'm gonna put the information in
Okay.
the episode notes. And book with your girl. Looks like her April books open on March 26th. So if you hear this episode, you got a week to determine what you want. Okay. Hello.
Go
All
off,
right.
Puffy.
You said what? Oh.
I said go off, Puffy. Come on.
And it's Women's History Month. You want to make some history? Go to a black nail tech.
Mm. See,
Okay.
I can't, it doesn't matter the race. I can't find a good nail tech out here for me, to my
Yeah.
liking. And it's just because I've been spoiled with the best nail tech and nail shop in the country, and I don't have it close to me no more. So I judge everybody's pedicures off of that place.
And
And
that's awful because I don't know if you're gonna, based off the
but even
reviews.
even in Atlanta, even when I couldn't make it there, I knew places that I could go to where I could be satisfied with my pedicure. The place that I go to out here, the lady is actually really good. It took me a minute to find a place. The problem is that it's so far, so I never get my feet and hands done no more because it's a 35-minute drive, and that's not
That's not Atlanta 35.
realistically, that's not that far, but it's far in LA. And then on top
Yeah.
of that, I pass so many places before I go to that part of town. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think the last time I had a really good pedicure, it might have been Cleopatra and Count Creek or Greenbrier. Like it had to be
Come on,
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra.
But don't nobody, and unfortunately, my idea of a good pedicure is like the cheese grater, which they not even supposed to be using. So I guess I never had a good one. But the girls in the suburbs don't get down like the girls in the hood. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I
I
agree.
want to mess. I want to stand up and feel like I just slipped up on a banana peel.
Okay. Yeah, I
Okay,
do.
so let's
But I feel you though. I be feeling like that too.
let's get into shop talk. Okay, so did you see this video clip of Jussie's attackers reenacting what happened that day?
I saw the video going around, but I didn't click it. I didn't care that
They
much.
need to be in jail. I'm sorry. Like that junk was literally giving SNL skit. It's really crazy. First of all, part of me wanted to believe that Jussie was innocent. And I
We
don't
all did.
even yeah, I wanted to believe it, but the way he was carrying on after it happened, it was just very strange, very weird. And I still genuinely don't understand his motive. I don't understand like why he did it. If he just was seeking attention at some point. I feel like a lot of celebrities are attention seekers at heart, and sometimes it just leaks out to the public. And maybe he was just having a moment. His boyfriend might have been about to break up with him, and he wanted to make him scared, and so he, made this
Oh
whole
my
scene because
gosh.
people do stuff like that.
Or he
But
has
yeah,
a or he has a mental illness and he was bored.
both two things can be true.
You know.
But he obviously was found guilty, and the two brothers, the Osando brothers, I believe that's their name, were a part of a documentary about the situation, and they reenacted what happened. And they were very goofy about it. It was actually kind of lame, just because they still committed a crime, but because they got off for their participation, they get to make a mockery of it, and it's just really weird. They need to be in jail. I'm sorry.
Um, what I was about to say. Do you think that okay, aside from this being just a insane, bogus, and weird ass story, do you think that he should be able to still work in Hollywood? Because that is also a thing.
I mean, Hollywood don't have an HR. He should work for whoever want to give him a job. And he's
I
been
agree.
working. He just recently dropped a movie. But
I agree. I feel like the problem with the industry is that when it comes to black people, you have to walk on eggshells and follow every rule in the book. You can't fuck up unless you're already rich. And when I notice that a lot of actors, especially white men, when they do stuff, they're able to still book jobs, like major jobs. They're able to still win awards and all this other stuff. And people just slap it on the wrist. Now, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do,
mhm.
but I don't know. I feel like in every field, people do fucked up stuff. People scam. People do, you know, uh, domestic violence, all type of different things, and they still able to live life. I don't know. I just be
Yeah,
feeling like,
well, I definitely think this is the thing. I think that the people that get to keep working had people that cared about them more.
yeah,
Empire was not going like we know Jussie's family. And we know him and his siblings, grew up in the industry and stuff like that. But outside of Empire, I mean, what exactly did he have going on? And this is not shade. I'm just saying,
yeah.
like, I think there are a lot of actors. Like, did Eddie Murphy get caught up in some stuff? I don't remember what it was, but we have
He
actors that have,
he. I think that was like more personal though. That was
like the trans thing.
yeah.
Who is a black actor that has continued to get jobs? And I'm not talking hip hop, and I'm talking about an actor.
Um Charlie Sheen.
He's not black.
Oh, you said black. Oh, Cuba Gooding
Yeah.
Jr.
Who?
Cuba Gooding Jr.
He has not still gotten jobs. Did he?
I feel maybe I just be watching old stuff, but I feel like
Yeah,
he
you
was
be
on.
watching old stuff. After that, his brother been getting jobs, or his cousin,
Okay.
whatever his name. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that a lot of the people, two things. I think a lot of the people in Hollywood that had scandals were big, and they probably were at a point where they nobody's checking for them. And I'm just assuming because I can't think of many. But I also think that this Jussie situation was extremely weird, extremely dramatic, and
Man,
not to justify or compare any crime, but I think that people are desensitized to domestic violence, to drug use, to certain criminal activity. This man staged a hate crime attack about Trump supporters and being gay with bleach and a noose. Like, it just was extremely detailed and unnecessary. It just was weird.
yeah.
So I think that it just gave weird vibes, and the way he went about it, to me, it's like I'm not shocked if people, it's like one of them things where you have a friend in school, at work, wherever, and y'all cool, and then they get caught up, I don't know, having sex in the bathroom, or they pee on themselves. You be like, "Oh, oh, no, you can't cheat off my tits." You know what I'm saying? I just feel like people, because Hollywood is almost like a freelance industry. It's just like, well, I mean, if these creators want to work with them, and if their talent outweighs the mess, then sure. But I don't think it's on Hollywood. It's on him. Shoot, he did it or
Yeah.
didn't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I want everybody to be successful for the most part, or at least make a living. But you got to lay in the bed you make. So Godspeed, Jesse,
Yeah, and
Juicy.
I agree. I agree. I do agree that people need to lay in the bed they make. But I also I be having conversations with people around me just about how I noticed that in certain communities, people are a little bit more forgiving about certain things than us. And I be having a problem with that sometimes. Now, I never, ever, ever want to be a person that forgives somebody for something like sexual assault. molestation, stuff like that. I feel like
Mhm.
that's y'all need to live on your own planet or something. Like just I don't know.
I
But
agree with you, and it maybe I'm wrong, but I do feel like, and I could be wrong again. I feel like number one, a lot of people of the non-black race, they are very quick to protect their own, and even if it's
yes,
not a good thing, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I do think that we are way too critical on our own people, and we should present like a united front, just like they do. But I also think that covering for your people like that, it breeds more of that kind of behavior. So it's kind of tough. It's like, yeah, wow. Like I just saw something with Suki where she performed with her shirt off, and then she compared herself to a white artist who did the same thing. And she was like, she's a hippie too. She's just from the hood. And I get what she was trying to say, but I personally think both were unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that we can be more harsh. But I also wonder, are we more harsh, or are we just in our own culture and not really hearing the conversations that are being had on the other side? I don't know. I'm just curious to know,
yeah,
because I think that they
that's,
have a
yeah.
much larger visibility or a much larger impact. And so even if there is outrage, there is still so many more of them that support those like people that on a larger scale that we don't really, it drowns out what we think their outrage should be.
So I do think that it's us being in our own culture because our black culture is us growing up listening to our elders and people around us telling us what was deemed respectable. Don't be because
Mhm.
realistically, what they were trying to teach us was don't go out in the real world making a fool of yourself in front of white people.
Yep. Mhm.
So don't do this. Don't wear this certain thing. You can't wear your hair like this. Well, not necessarily the hair and stuff like that. I never
But yeah,
heard that,
no, yes. Yeah.
but you have to be presentable, like especially with guys. Like you when I was younger, like my mom and my family, they would look at people crazy for having locks sometimes. Well, not my mama, but my family, that you can't, you
But
need to
yes,
tame
people
your
still look
hair,
at it as
comb your hair.
untamed.
Yeah, comb your hair. You need to do something. You need to look presentable and do this and blah blah blah. And it's just like, why is it that they're able to color their hair green, purple, blue, all these different colors? They're able to tattoo their whole bodies and still work in very lucrative spaces. Opposed to us, whenever we do it, we're compared to gang members and drug addicts and drug dealers and jailbirds. And I don't like that because even when I was a kid, I always told my mama, like, when I grew up, I wanted to be tattooed, and my mama would always tell me that's gonna be the first thing they identify you by when you go to jail. Why would you even say that? Like, she was
Yeah.
like, if you ever get locked up or go to jail, they're gonna be able to blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even look at it that way. My brain didn't work in that direction because I wasn't thinking like that. I'm not thinking that I'm
But
growing
you
up to
gotta
be in
also
jail.
think
But see,
about who their parents were and what they dealt with.
yeah, exactly, and what they went through, so that's all they seen. But that's why I'm like, it sucks that you know we're stuck in that because most of the time people in our culture don't want to think outside of that. So everything that we've learned, that our parents learned, grandparents learned, we're harboring on that, and we're not even trying to even think outside of what they
Generational
told us.
trauma.
And
Yeah,
so
no, you're absolutely right.
when people break away from that and they're able to think freely and experience things and all this other stuff, where they're looked at as weird and devil worshippers and
Mhm.
Illuminati, all this stuff. They bring up all type of crazy stuff, and it's just like realistically, you should just travel because that's how I learned. I mean,
Yeah,
I was
see the
very
world.
close minded too, but me traveling and actually learning about people's cultures and different countries, like even me going to countries where people eat food together like out of one plate. Of course I thought that was kind of strange, but after a while, just me thinking about it, I realized that builds bonds with each other. Like it helps you like build a bond with your family, like those type of small things that we
Listen,
don't.
I grew up not even eating dinner at the same table. I literally would take my food and go to my room. And I've gone to people's houses or spent the night or stayed with people for a short amount of time and go eat in my room. And they'd be like, "Oh, we don't eat in our room." And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, I grew up in a house like that. My mama would not even let me take a plate down the hallway.
Yeah, I think I definitely was probably in my late 20s, early 30s when I learned that. I thought it was common. I don't can't think of many times where we just ate dinner as a family, and a lot of times we would just eat food on the fly. So it just was never like a,
Yeah,
dinner time.
yeah. No, and I get that. I get that. I feel like everybody' life experience, of course, is different, so they think different. So I try to have a little compassion and just like a little patience with people sometimes. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, like you're not in my head. I'm like, you cannot honestly think that way, but
Yeah.
maybe you can. They just need some Adderall.
Shut up. Yeah, I think about this kind of stuff all the time, and I think that a lot of stuff is an issue because it's just different. And I think that once we accept certain things as being environmental or cultural, it might have less of a negative impact. But unfortunately, Black people don't have the privilege of living in such oblivion because we always are constantly faced with the idea that we're being perceived a certain kind of way. So we strict on ourselves and we pass it down and we think that we should be past that, but in reality it's we just only 1 degree of separation away from that kind of trauma. So when you see these white folks, or the white culture in general or the American culture in general, they don't have to deal with that. They were the oppressor, and then they were forced to comply with the opposite, and they're like, all right, well, whatever, and
Yeah,
then they just doing their thing, and then we are living for validation from them whether we know it or not. So it's strange, but
it's a mess. I'm trying to. I'm honestly actively trying to unlearn all that because my trauma from living in the South um, is has carried over to me in how I interact with people in LA because I realized that in the South, when it comes to well, in Atlanta in general, our experience with white people was very black and white, like textbook. For me, like I feel like all the white people were very racist, and it was just like open racism. Now I have experienced some racism here, but very small.
hmm
But I think that for me, the problem that I have is that I internalize that all white people and all Hispanic people don't like black people. And so that kind
Yeah,
of
how do you
affects.
shake that? It's like it's always a thought in your mind. Even if you finally get to an environment where it's not like that, it's just a back. It's still in your head.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it either comes off sometimes like I'll be standoffish to those type of people, and it's not even purposely done. I do it naturally just because that's just how I was raised, and so I break through that. Like I just have to really think like you in your head too much. This person is a regular person. They're not thinking nothing about that.
hmm
Listen to how they're talking to me, like they talking to me like I'm a regular person, just saying certain things like. And so now I do things like if I'm in the grocery store and I see a white person staring at me or something like that, I'll start a conversation with them because I don't want it to be uncomfortable on either end because I feel like maybe
Is that your job though?
it's
Like,
not my job. It's not my job, but also I feel like I don't want to be walking around my guard up all the time like that. That's
yeah,
so
I feel you.
that requires so much energy, so much like you know what I'm saying. That's draining. So I just even if it's not staring at me in a negative way, I just speak and just be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Whatever, blah blah. Start a conversation.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's almost
Yeah,
like, and I don't want us to spend too much time on this, but when we think about, like, I think that people, how we always talk about, like, people from the hood want to get out, people not from the hood want to get in, and it's like we come from this environment where we are taught these things, but then the people who were raised in a quote unquote better environment, we don't even claim them or their blackness. So it's like, which
yes,
one is it? Because those
yes. I
people
had to
have
stop
learned
myself
to.
from doing that too.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I still have a little judgment in me.
Yeah.
Until they prove themselves. And that's not okay. But I'm just being honest.
I have to say because I experienced that here. These kids grew up, and I have to realize that the nature of like work culture here. These people's parents are like producers for major
hmm
shows. They probably like Will Smith's whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they
hmm
grew up a certain way that I didn't. So the way that they talk and the way that they look at things and the way that they respond to things is way different than me and
Yeah,
way
but they
different than the
still
people
black.
around me.
But
And they're
our
still
pr-
black.
and we
That doesn't take
and
away from them being black,
Yeah.
you know?
But it just makes me think about the episode we talked about people being corny. And I mean, I feel like I have always, because of how I grew up, the way people prove themselves is their ability to like defend themselves. So when I but the way they learn how to defend themselves was because of our environment, our circumstances. So when I see people that grew up in a much better situation, come from money, or immersed in diversity, et cetera, I'm like, man, they don't know real life. They don't know struggle. So
I mean, they
what
don't,
what
but
do what do they have to? I mean, you're right. What
it
do they
ain't
have
their
to
fault though.
protect?
Yeah,
Right. It's not their fault, and it's but I should not look at it that way. But I think it's just a sense of pride that we get from coming up the way we did because we beat the odds. That it's like it's almost like the rite of passage. Like, nah, I made it through the trenches. Like, I'm good. So when people don't have to go
yes,
through that, it's almost like we assume that they don't have nothing that they have to deal with, but they also are dealing with problems that we got to avoid, like having to prove our blackness to white people. It's just like
yeah.
it's just
Cause like,
yeah, it's
what exactly do we want them to do? Spend 4 years in the hood?
no, you know what it is? I want them to talk like us. I think that's what that'd be my first. And that's is listen, I'm here to confess my truths. When people talk very proper, I automatically have some judgment. I don't treat them no kind of way, but in my head, I'm like, oh, okay. You a little
Yeah.
green, ain't you?
I
Because
mean, yeah,
they do be green though, but that's not their fault. You know what I'm saying? You get
no,
what I'm saying?
it's not
Like
their
they are
fault.
prone to getting finessed, they prone to getting scammed, and it's because they
And should,
haven't
and then and it's almost like should I just like how should that determine me not being friends with them or being cool with them just because they talk different than me?
but you're right. But some I have been in environments where I have that same thought, but then they also treat me a different kind of way because I am from the like I talk a certain kind of way. They be like, "Oh, you
Now that
ghetto."
now
I
that I don't like that shit.
Yeah, me
That
either. Me
happened to
either.
me with
Because I
a
know
friend
I'm
of
that
mine.
girl, so you're not
Yeah.
finna sit there and play with me just because of how I talk.
Yeah, I think they associate, and it's on both ends because
Yeah, it is.
I feel like we assume that they are a certain way because of how they talk, and they assume that we're a certain way because a lot of people think that we may be clueless and we're not smart just because we have a country dialect or we talk like we're from the
Hmm.
hood or we say things a certain way. They probably think that we are not smart, and that's not true.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're right. So it sucks on both sides. But I was at a gathering not too long ago, and I was surrounded by a lot of people that grew up in the suburbs, not far outside Atlanta city limits either. And I felt uncomfortable because I felt like I was the only black girl there, and everybody there was black. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's when I had the moment like it should you should not be thinking like that. You should not be feeling like that. And they were nice to me. Nobody was rude, but I just didn't even feel like we had anything in common. So I didn't even try to be social with them because I feel like I almost felt like I had to code switch to even to be around them.
Mhm.
It's strange,
I've
but
learned to not code switch either. If anything, when I get around people that talk proper, I make my accent stronger on purpose.
well everything
I do. I really do.
I mean,
I
hey,
make it very strong.
unfortunately, due to the nature of my work, when I do slip up and talk like myself, all I get is a huh. I'm like, all right, never mind. Never mind. So, but
I'll be
I
like, you
agree
heard
with
what
you.
I said.
Yeah, I know. It's what a sucky cycle we're in. Well, if I don't have kids, I won't have any curses to reverse. So
Oh
I'm just
my god.
Hazel spoiled. But I always used to be like, oh, I want my kids to experience the hood, and I don't want them to struggle. But I also feel like taking suburban kids to the hood don't teach them nothing. If
Yeah,
anything.
it don't. And I'm noticing that a lot of people who even that still live in the hood to this day that have kids, their kids are actually growing up speaking very proper.
Yep. It's the
So
environment.
the
It's just
times
times
are
change.
changing.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that a lot. Like every time I see somebody with kids,
Just
their
think about
kids
the
speak.
word proper. Why is it wrong to speak English properly? You know what I'm saying? But it's because
Yeah,
of what we dealt with and we felt like we earned a certain badge that's hard to get. That's really what it come down to.
yeah.
But then from their perspective, it's like we grew up, we lacked. Oh, is your dad in your life? And I'm like, well, maybe he wasn't, but that
Oh,
doesn't mean I'm not a good person. Like, dang, why the stereotypes got to be true?
because if I say, "Oh, is your dad on meth?" then
Oh my God.
now
Or
we
they be like,
can.
oh, did you grow up in the hood? I did, actually. And to me, I'm like, I did, but look where I'm at now. But to them, it's like, oh, wow. So did you like have toilet water? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's move
Yeah.
on from this topic because I actually got a topic I want to talk about. And
Let's
I
go.
think
But
it's
shout
a
out to
little
Campbellton
interesting.
Road Zone 4.
Period, point blank.
So
I'm
we
going to
keep
make the
going.
world know where I'm from.
Let it go.
Hello.
Let's slow. Let's
Okay. So For today's topic, I want to talk about a subject. So, if you guys are not familiar with Ebony K. Williams, she is an attorney and a podcast host. She is a content creator. I'll say that. She was also on Real Housewives of New York. We talked about her briefly, and she is a very blackity black advocate. So, last maybe several weeks ago, Ebony K. Williams was a guest host on the Breakfast Club, and she was talking about how she is nearing her 50s and she wants a child. She has been engaged before. She's been in long-term relationships, but they did not end up being the way that she wanted them to be. So she is going through the process to gain a sperm donor so that she could be a single mom by choice. So we all
Mm,
know that a lot of stereotypes about black families is they're raised by single moms, the dad is not in the picture, et cetera, et cetera. And so when she said that, a lot of people were upset with her because they felt like she is perpetuating a stereotype. Now, for me, I did not see the issue, but I do understand. I feel like I didn't always side with her. I think Rihanna was somebody that said that she would be a single mother or something like that. Did she say something like that a while ago? A long time ago? I used to feel like a lot of people feel like, having a parent, raising it by yourself is, a stereotypical thing to do. But I also feel like the reason why we have a negative perception of people being raised in a single parent home is because of the way that it happened. The father disappearing, the father being removed from the household, the father going to jail. All the worst parts of it. But people also pass away. You know what I'm saying? People get sick, they become disabled, and people have to take on that responsibility. Obviously, those are some things that we can't necessarily control. But I think that when someone decides, let's say Ebony in this case, to be a single mother by choice, it doesn't come with the trauma of the father being missing. Because I think that when the father is not in the picture, that's all that you associate with him. This person that rejected you or that wasn't in your life, that wasn't participating, didn't play a part, and now you have to compare that to those around you who have either the same story or maybe even the opposite. Now, I do think that there is still some harm involved because I do think there are definitely benefits to both parents being in the picture, but I think that I just think it's just a different circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we want the best for the child to have both, but I don't think that there's a such thing. I don't think that it has to be the dad per se as the male figure in their life. I don't suggest it, but I genuinely understand her stance based off of her age and all that. And why not do that and be resentful for life because you didn't get to pass your legacy down or get to do things to extend your bloodline.
I agree. So for me, I think that this all goes back to um racism. I blame
Yeah, it
everything on
does.
racism. So the American dream is a wife, a husband, two kids, and a dog.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been the model for the perfect family. That's always been the model for all type of things. It's been so many different stories about people who in the media um, and just do things like mass shootings and murders and all these type of things that come from good homes like that. So that I think that people should just take
Good
that
homes or two-parent homes?
let's two parent homes. There we go. They come from two parent homes, and I think that from that, people should just kind of eliminate just because you have both parents in your house. That doesn't mean that you are gonna grow up and be perfect or be,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, just have a good
Exactly.
life.
Because
I
people
think that
have abusive households, they have terrible parents, they can have a
that's
terrible
exactly what
mother.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It could be either parent being abusive. It could either, you know what I'm saying? It's so many different things and factors that factor in just how a person turns out. And I think that for me, I'm glad that my mom like just explained that to me at a young age because see, for her, she had a very traumatic experience because her mom was killed, and so she has eight brothers and sisters that she had to take care of because she was the oldest out of nine
Mm.
kids. And so all of them didn't have the same dad, so some of them went with their dad or whatever. But about four or five of them end up having to stay with my mom, and so my aunts and my uncles always talk about how well they were taken care of when my mom was taking care of them, and it was like before they weren't even taking care of that taking care of that well. So I mean, that's saying that you were taking care about by your older sister and you still turned out, decent. or
Yeah,
whatever.
and
I
and
don't
it
know.
takes a village regardless. I don't think that that village has to look the same for every household.
No.
But I mean, I think like obviously a woman can't teach a man how to be a man can't teach a woman how to be a woman. So I do understand. And honestly, I don't think a woman can fully teach a woman how to deal with men. I think that the male figure is necessary, but again, it takes a village. So you can still have people in your child's life that can make sure that they spend time with them, they bond with them, socialize your kids, involve them in athletics, and I don't have to be athletics, but just social or extracurricular activities so they can be enriched. But I mean, I'm not mad at it. I do understand people's disdain with it, but this is her body and her choice. And people donate sperms for this reason for people that can't have kids. And essentially she can't. If she hasn't found a man that she want to do it with. And at the
Yeah.
sperm bank, you can identify the traits about the people. And also, y'all, it's actually really hard for a black woman to find black sperm. I'm not sure if y'all knew that. A lot of people go to like Barbados and other black countries to find sperm because in America there is a huge lack. Also dealing with stereotypes of people wanting sperm, and it ain't just us that want the black sperm.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
let's start
For
there.
sure. It's very trendy to have a mixed baby, especially in
Very
California.
strange, very strange, very strange. Now let me ask you this: what were some of the things that, like, when you were in high school and you thought you had your life, like you had before you even started facing life, like what was your plan by what age?
Um, Going into high school, I started to think what I wanted to do with my future. I've always loved animals. I grew up in the house with animals. So my goal was to go to school to be for veterinary medicine. So I thought that, I'll do my 8 years fresh out of college, and then boom, by what, 26, 27, I will probably be in my career married with
Did you
kids.
know there's less than 3% of veterinarians are black?
I
We could
didn't
have
know
used
that.
you in the field.
You know what's so crazy? I know two black male veterinarians.
That's good. One of my cousins is a vet med student, and I know three others that are vet med students. And I'm really proud of them. And they go to great schools. I'll say that. But yeah, I mean, I think that would be great. What about your life in general? Like for me, when I was in high school, I just thought that by 25, I was gonna be married with a home, with the right job, with the right everything. I thought that 25 was so far away that by then I had to have all those things that I desire, and obviously that didn't happen.
Um, I don't know. The kids thing came later, but I never just envisioned my life with like that. I've always been a
Maybe it's a
person that's
woman
been
thing.
been anti like houses. I grew up in an apartment, and so I always realized how much work it was. And then like the people in my family who did have houses, I hated going to their houses. They had ladybugs, they had all type of straw in the driveway that was so itchy. They had mosquitoes.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah.
grass had to be cut. I remember so growing up, my mom put me in the Big Brother program. So I had a
Mhm.
mentor that ended up buying a home when I was in high school, and
Oh.
so he would be, offering me an allowance, but I would have to work for it. He was teaching me how to work for money, and
Mhm.
so he would have me cut his grass. The whole time I was cutting that grass, I'm never getting a house. That's all I kept saying. I was like, I'm never getting
I mean,
a house
that's
ever.
I get it. I get it.
I,
I
I,
get
I
it. But that
always
was
felt
a
like that.
very extreme situation what he had.
Yeah, and it was a huge house.
Yeah.
It was
How
so
old
big.
was he at the time? Because he was, I mean, he was grown, but he was younger than what we are right now doing all that.
He also worked for Microsoft, so
Oh, he
that
did. Dang, he was a black man in tech before the trend.
no, for real. He worked for Microsoft. I remember as a kid, I never had to buy like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint. I had all that on my computer without having to pay for it. I remember that.
Dang,
That was
I
that was a
remember
flex.
seeing him at Linux one day, and now I don't even know if I would recognize him today.
He literally looks the same.
I don't remember what he looked like though, even though when I saw him, we was grown.
He literally looks the same. But
That's
I
crazy.
learned so much from him. That's why I'm like, you know what? It's very, and I'm not perfect. I definitely have my flaws, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that I know and the patience that I have about certain situations and the knowledge and just like my experience on life, because he would introduce me to things like I went whitewater rafting in 7th grade. I went fishing. Why I'm scared of fish, don't know. I went. I didn't go skydiving, but we did do like drop thing. Like just so I experienced so many different things that just kind of opened my mind up to so much, and even just thinking back of how grateful I am about somebody listening to me about what I wanted to do when I got older. He sent me to a pre-medical camp that was centered around veterinary medicine in a whole nother state. I,
Dang,
I,
think about the impact of that.
that's
I
what I'm
wanted to be a
saying.
part of that program so bad. I'm not gonna go into. I got a little trauma related to that too. But you hear that's a village, like for real. Your mama
You see
put
what
you
I'm
in this.
saying?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
like, and obviously we all need father figures, but things like that. Maybe your dad, and I don't know your dad obviously, but your dad might not be a fisherman, a person with a farm. It's like all these different things that people offer. It contributes to what what. Like I
yes,
don't like. I was just telling somebody recently like when I went to college, I didn't even know what to pursue because I didn't know anybody that went to college. And the ones that did go to college either wasn't working in their field or they were teachers. So I didn't even know anybody that worked in data, nobody that was an engineer.
yeah,
And knowing if I would have been exposed to it, it probably would have opened my mind a little bit more. And maybe I would have decided it's not for me, but at least I'm well versed enough in it to be like, okay, I
yeah.
understand it.
So that's why I'm like that the single parent home thing. That's I don't think that that's fair that people are doing that because it's
I'm sure a lot of
ways
people that
to
was leaving
raise up.
comments were raising from by single parents too, and maybe they're just not
They
proud of
sitting
what
on the
happened to
couch
them.
eating chips, probably a part of my 600 pound life or something. Who knows? I just playing. Let me not do that.
No, I
But
think that sometimes people deflect based off of their personal experiences. Because
and
even though
your
I grew up with a
experiences
single
is
parent,
not
I don't see the. I mean, I'm very proud of what I was able to overcome, and I can understand why somebody like Ebony would want to, I mean, and everybody wasn't playing. She's actually planning a child at a time of her life is actually doing very well. You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly, and she's able to take care. And I think that that's a thing too because they associate single parents with struggle. They
yep,
associate
yep, yep,
single
yep.
parents with like
All the Kardashians is single
making
parents.
making ends meet. I mean, not even just them. I mean, you can even look at. I'm trying to think of a black celebrity that's
Halle
Monica.
Berry,
Monica.
Monica definitely is a single parent.
She's a single parent, and she has, you know what I'm saying. She's living well. Her kids are doing well.
Neil
Um,
Long.
Nia Long. There's so many different people that, and I don't know.
You're
I don't
right though,
know.
but you know what it is? It's again, it's just based off of how much people like you that it becomes an
Yeah,
issue.
it's just annoying. I don't like that.
Because if
But
you're
that's life,
attractive, if you
though.
do cool things, you see
Yeah.
people was getting trying to go in on Ashanti because she is unmarried without kids and always on vacation. Talking about nobody wants
So
to marry you. How do you know that she wants to be married? Like I'm like, how can y'all make this assumption? And half of y'all will never meet in a. Most of y'all will never get close to an Ashanti.
the thing is, Ashanti, from what I remember growing up, Ashanti has always been in a relationship. She's
Yep.
dated Nelly for so long, and then just to know the story behind like how she was treated in Murder Inc. and all this other stuff, I probably would be living my life like this as well. Like she's back in the
And why? And guess what? People with kids be saying that they can't do that because it's so many other things
yes,
that so much logistics. And I'm not
she's
tripping. I
enjoying her life. Same thing with Mary J. Blige.
lit, bro. I
Same
just
thing with
realized
her.
Mary J. Blige ain't got no kids. Not, I mean,
No,
she's been married before, but that's what I'm saying. It's selective. It's based off how people feel about that person that they decide to have those kind of opinions. But you're right. You're
Whoopi
right.
Goldberg.
She got kids.
No,
No kids, not married. She said she don't want
she
nobody in her
said she
house.
don't want to be married because she don't want nobody in her
That's my
house.
kind of carrying on. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, why is it because nobody wants to marry her? And they say that as if they are a better option for her. Like, shut up.
Yeah,
But it's also
she,
social media, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But I think that, yeah, it's just interesting. I just think that people should live the life that they desire and be held responsible for the things that they do. And that's just what
it
it
just
comes
it
down
just
to.
all goes back to what once again racism because America
Literally.
is built off of um America to me in my perspective is built off of entitlement. Every We want to own and be right about every single thing, like
Hmm.
even and I noticed that what made me kind of open my eyes to that when people talk about cultural appropriation. So like when you go over to these countries that you say that we're appropriating, they don't even know what that means. They looking at it as respect. Who
Yeah.
made that up? Who decided that, oh my God, you're disrespecting these people's cultures?
Well, you know
You're
what? I think
disrespecting this. You're not supposed
that
to
could be
do
looked
that.
at as deflecting too, because so much of our culture is stolen by the same kind of people that we assume that if you do it for any other culture, then they must feel the same way that we feel.
No, and they don't.
Yeah.
They really don't. I think that's, it's a way to do it that's respectful and disrespectful. Like even when you're wearing like certain kimonos and stuff like that. For us, for people who aren't Asian or who aren't of those certain cultures, you have to wear certain things,
I also
opposed to
think it's
people who.
yeah, but I will say sometimes people those cultures do get offended though if you wear it for fun. Like I think
Yeah,
there's
for
like for
sure.
Halloween, you can't dress up as a Native American for Halloween, especially given the history or people wearing chopsticks and stuff like that. So and also everybody not offended. The people that make the loudest noise are the ones that get the most attention, the most traction. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
everybody might not look at it that way. That's the thing right now on TikTok where white and Korean culture it has like pretty much tried to steal like the majorette dances. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I get it because but the problem is when we put it out there for consumption, we don't have no control over who's on the receiving end. And it's not our fault necessarily, but unfortunately with social media, especially with things like TikTok, stuff spreads so quickly to everybody. And then so it's just hard to you can't really gatekeep for real.
No, not on stuff like that. Just because like you said, it's open to the public, but
Hmm.
we also collectively got to get out of that. Now, when it comes to stuff like braids and just literally taking stuff from Black culture, I think that is very sensitive for us just because of the history behind America and the history behind white and Black people in America. So
Hmm.
it's like, you know what I'm saying?
And
We
until
still
we
have,
feel like we've been properly appreciated and compensated, I don't think we're ever gonna be able to get past that.
for sure.
Yeah,
For
and that's
sure.
gonna
I
take
agree.
forever.
You know what I'm saying? And then it's just the way that people um do those things because it's like it's not like you're getting the braids and you're doing this celebrating Black people. You're doing this as a new trend. Oh, this boxer braids just came out and we doing this. You know what I'm
Right, not
saying?
even
Like,
attempting to see where it started or give honor because you've seen it before, and it's not
yeah,
even
like I
like
saw
instead of
I
because I
saw a
think that's another thing
TikTok.
they do. They see it and they just run with it.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok of a little girl, and she was saying that she had to be like 5 or 6, and she was saying that her friend at school had braids with beads on it, and she thought that it looked so cool, and she wanted to get that, and her mom was so hesitant because she know the backlash that she would get it for getting that, but the baby just genuinely liked the
Like
hairstyle
the
and liked how it
style.
looked, and it was cool, and she wanted it. So in a sense like that, I'm like, dang, she should be able to do that because especially if she hang out with a girl that could be like looked at as like, oh my god, look,
Yeah, I get
we
it.
have something in
It's a
common.
yeah, but oh,
It's
yeah,
just
I
a
get
it's
it.
just a yeah.
It's a
But
thin
of course, I'm
line.
I'm looking at it like, unfortunately, we don't live in a country where that's okay.
Yeah, it's
You know what
very
I'm saying?
it's just
Like
sensitive when it comes to us, and I get it, but I also get like the innocence of the little girl like thinking that's cool, and then now you tell her no, she can't do it, and now she finna start. Now it's kind of almost creating a little division mentally for her, cause like oh I can't do this,
either
or what
either
else make
that
us
or she's
different?
just gonna do it anyway because of a rebellion. She like, shit, I'm gonna do it
Yes,
because that was
that's
me.
exactly. Yep, yep. Look at
That's
me, I
me
got
because my
braids. Yeah.
yeah, my mama told me, she was like, of course, when you're an adult, you can do whatever you want to do, but you will not get tattoos while living under my roof because this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, girl, I asked you just because I wanted to say that. I didn't want you to say I never asked you.
But this was a
You telling me
FYI.
no, I'm still finna go get it.
I actually, yeah, it's funny because people used to always say that I was gonna do that. I never, if I wasn't allowed to do a lot of stuff, and I just didn't do it. But maybe, I don't know, whatever. I never was sneaky
Yeah.
like that. I don't think I was.
No, you wasn't. I don't think you was sneaky, but like you was very mannerable. I feel like
Thank
we
you.
both was. I feel like if anything, I just wilded out after high school for obvious reasons.
I mean, I was about to say
And you
like,
kind of kept it together.
yeah,
That was the only
well,
thing. I had a little moment. I should have had some
but you
Adderall.
deserve to have the moment. I mean, let's be, be FFR.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
I think yeah, I don't know. And I also was the firstborn, so I feel like firstborns always have a different little style about them, a little swag. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
But
my god.
anyways, yeah, I think it's interesting. I think I mean I know we people this should be common sense. But people legit, if they're not causing harm to anybody, I think that they should be allowed to do what works for them in their household. We literally may not ever meet her kid when this time
Mm-hmm.
happens, but unfortunately, social media has created this culture where the people that have the most hate get the most attention. So it makes it look like everybody is against it, when in reality, it's just not. If you delete the
Mm-mm.
apps, you won't have a single clue what's wrong and what's not. There was something that happened recently, and I can't remember what it was, but I formulated my own opinion. Oh, I know what it was. I watched the Chris Rock stand up live while it was on Netflix, right? I watched it when I was in Vegas, and I did not go on social media when I was in Vegas. I probably, if I did, I mean, I don't think I did. So I came back in town and I started scrolling social media to see what people had to say, and so many people hated it, and I'm like, dang, I liked it.
Yeah,
Now what?
and that comes from I watched it too, and I didn't really think that it was because it was funny. I did laugh at
I
a
laughed through the
lot of
whole
it,
thing. And
but
I don't have no kind of preference over Will Smith to Chris Rock. They both is just
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think for me, my style of comedy that I like is more so like uncle. Like it gotta feel like family. So people like Mike Epps and
Mhm.
Cat Williams
Yeah,
and
yeah.
some more. Like I love some more stand up. And these people who obviously I'm not related to, but I can relate
They more
more to
relatable.
them because
Yeah.
they kind of speak my language. Chris
Mhm.
Rock, I'm not saying that he didn't come from the hood or whatever, blah blah blah, but he
He ain't
has
even
a
black.
certain,
Dang.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
but
I get
it's
it.
like his approach to comedy, I can't really fully relate to it. And I'm not saying that it's not funny. It's just
That to me, the
all of it
abortion jokes
isn't
was
for me.
funny. Though
It's
the
comedy. That
Meghan
it's
Markle
you're
stuff was
supposed
funny.
to
I
do
thought
that.
all of it was funny, and I'm queen of inappropriate saying inappropriate stuff. So maybe that's the problem. But I'm not. I've never watched. I don't think I ever watched a Chris Rock stand up. Now he definitely not. He's not my kind of guy. But I laughed a lot, and I didn't like his whole acting up in front of white people thing. It goes back to our conversation, but people have always said that he pandered to white culture. So I mean, he's
Yeah,
even let white people say the N word in front of him. And I didn't let that determine if I liked him or not. I just like comedy, so I just watched it and I
yeah.
thought it was funny. But
No, I get
I didn't
it.
see hardly anybody on social media say they liked it. And I didn't even want to chime in. I'm like, it almost made me not even want to share my opinion because I'm like, I don't got time to be going back and forth about with folks about what I thought was funny. Because I think
Yeah, no.
good comedy is inappropriate.
Comedy is
Dark.
subjective. I know that I
Yeah.
have and I love dark humor, and that's just partially because I grew up watching South Park religiously.
Listen, and I mean
So
shows like that is still airing and people acting how they act.
yeah,
Boondocks.
yeah. Like I watched stuff like that growing up. So my taste in comedy can be a little dark compared to most, but I mean that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I ain't apologize for it. I like it.
Whew, child. I ain't apologizing either, but I do, and I know I've said it before, but I do see myself fading out social media because I don't want my thoughts to be skewed or changed just because I see a majority on my screen disagreeing with it. I don't like that.
Speaking of phasing out of social media, my Twitter got
Let
hacked.
me go check on it. Has it said anything? Do you got any crazy
No,
DMs?
um, I don't use my DMs like that. I literally send DMs to my friends, like of tweets and stuff. But other
Oh,
than
we in
that,
trouble then
no,
if they go through our thread. Oh well,
I don't know what to
I said what I
do.
said.
They haven't tweeted anything from the page, but yeah, my Twitter is hacked. They changed the email address and the password. So I mean, honestly, it's only been like a day and a half, but I haven't. I will say that just having my Instagram timeline is enough.
Yeah.
Because I think with Twitter, it gets too deep. The think pieces,
That's
the
why I deleted my first account. Remember, I was telling you it was just too much. I couldn't take it
it's
no
a
more.
lot, and
Yeah,
I be addicted to that because and not even that because I like it. It's just that I be wanting to. I like to see the way other people think sometimes, even if it's stupid, because
yeah.
I be needing validation
I
that I'm
don't.
smart
It
sometimes.
irritates me. I rather not even use the app, and I hate it because I feel like I got my new Twitter to a point where I follow who I want to follow, or I don't mind following. But I'm starting to see. I'm tired of blocking people every day to clean up my timeline.
Yeah.
With Instagram, I don't really have that problem, but
Yeah, I don't
people are
have a
trying to
problem on
use
Instagram because I
Instagram.
literally follow what I want to see
Yeah, and you
and
can't just
people who I
retweet
want
stuff
to
from my
see.
page.
And huh?
I say you can't like with Twitter, you see people's likes, people retweets, and then you got this new
Yeah,
suggested timeline where you see people you don't even follow. So it's hard to not it's hard to just see the things you care about on there. But on Instagram, you can people can shut up and just look pretty, you know? They can just
Mm-hmm.
shut up and dribble, you know? I'm just playing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, all right, let's wrap this thing up. I don't know if there's some technical difficulties in this episode. I guess if you reach this point, it must have been fixed. But I'm gonna
Yeah,
probably edit
maybe.
this tomorrow since we recorded early. Where you traveling to this
Okay.
week? Oh,
Um,
Arizona. That's right.
so I have to go to Arizona to do a class. It's just a 1 day trip, and I come back on Tuesday night. Wednesday, I am going to see SZA in concert.
Ooh, in LA?
Mm-hmm. This is gonna be my first. Well, not my first concert here. It's gonna be my first like big concert here because I've went to like like my friend shows or like a little small concert, but this is gonna be my first time going to like an arena show. So
Yeah.
out here, which I'm
Okay,
excited
it said
about.
crypto arena or whatever.
No, I don't know. We have a few of them, but I don't think it's at that one. I hope it is. 'Cause it's down the street.
My brother-in-law went to the crypto arena, and every time he posted it, he would scratch out crypto and put Staples Center.
Oh yeah, because it ain't Staples Center no more, but we still
Uh,
say Staples Center.
yeah, it makes sense. It's a little staple. I am working this week, y'all. Let's hope I found a house. If not, let's just hope I do find one at some point, child. Who knows?
Oh my gosh.
But
My birthday's coming up, so I've been like trying to get those plans together. I honestly, if I'm being 100%, I do want to go somewhere or do something, but my main focus right now is getting my teeth done
period. I didn't tell you how much I
for
love
my
my
birthday.
teeth. So I get it. Get your teeth done.
Do
Yeah.
me that.
No. You got an ETA on that, or are you just working out the kinks?
No, that's just my goal. I haven't I so the last time when I did my consultation, the thing about the consultations is that um those doctors change their prices all the time. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. Most of the times they do go up. So those consultations are only good for 30 days. So until I
Mm.
know that I'm ready to get my teeth done, I don't want to get the consultation done.
Yeah, because you don't want to get your hopes up thinking it's gonna be, and then they might try to once they
And
quote
they
you.
pay you gotta pay for that. So no.
Oh, and I was about to say, and once they quote you and you let it expire, they might go up on you just because they know that you already like if they probably not gonna tell you a lesser price because the
For
price
sure.
went down.
For
Yeah,
sure, yeah. So I've been trying to like use my Instagram followers as
do what you
like
gotta do.
DMing the doctors directly, like, hey,
Yeah, I don't
how you
blame
doing?
you.
Just so I can see if I get a discount because I know they do offer discounts for people with followers, but ain't nobody biting the bait. I don't
Oh,
mind
they
though.
be like,
It's
honey,
my
everybody
teeth.
got followers.
It ain't my it's my teeth. So I mean I just gotta do what I gotta do. But
Yeah,
that's my
I feel
focal
you.
point
Ask
right
them if you
now.
can
Get my teeth
collab. I
done.
guess that's what I don't know what y'all people
I
say.
honestly, but if I'm being 100%, I hope they don't charge me more for this, but I don't want them to put my pictures on Instagram.
Okay,
I don't like that. I mean, I get it, and I know this
I
is
be
for
offended when
promo.
my hairstylists don't take my picture. It's
I
okay though.
don't
Y'all
put
must
me
think I'm
on there.
ugly.
My barber never posts me. I don't be offended. I know I look
I
good.
think Iris posted me a couple times actually, so I'm a pass. I'm a chill.
I don't want that on
I
there.
mean, I get it, and then they'll essentially use that for promo for the rest of your life.
Take that off.
Okay,
Or
well,
I
that
call
means
the
you need to
police.
pay full price.
I hope that's what I'm saying. I hope they don't charge me more just because I don't want my picture on there. But if they give me a discount, yeah, I will do it. I just probably won't repost it. You can post it on your page. If y'all see it, y'all
So
see
you
it. But
you just don't want people to know you got your teeth done, or you just want to keep life
it's not
going.
even that. I don't want to I don't know. I don't want to just like I don't I can't explain it without sounding a certain way. But
I like being
I
a
just don't
certain
want that
way.
online.
I
I don't
get
want that
it.
on
Do you?
there.
It's you. It's your mouth.
Like even when I get them done, I'm not even gonna make a post. Like I'm not
Just
making
yeah,
a
just do
TikTok.
life. I
I'm
think
just
that's the
gonna
best way
act
to go.
normal. Like just wake up one day and I got new teeth. Y'all don't know what
Well,
happened.
I show posted mine.
I don't want that.
I
See,
don't
if I
care, but I
probably
don't have a
did it
lot of
the way that
followers
you
like that.
did, if I did it the way that you did, then maybe. But
I get it. And people be offering unsolicited opinions too. I know some people that have gotten lipo and certain or BBLs or whatever, and the comments be crazy. I'm like, dang, you would think you was the one sitting on this booty.
I don't want that. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
want
blame you. I mean, do
that.
what you do. It's you, it's yourself. But I get it. Do you know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
all right. Well, we did record this early, so today's Sunday. I'm looking forward to this week being gone already. Monday ain't even came yet, child. But
Me too. I mean, not me too. I'm looking forward to relaxing. I've been on the go since Japan. So like from Japan, I came home Super Bowl.
yeah,
Uh, you know what I'm saying? I've been traveling a lot, and this is like my last trip so far. I mean, that I know of. And I'm ready to just come home and go to sleep and just enjoy.
Take some break. Take a
Take,
sabbatical.
yeah, I need it. And I actually need it to work. I felt myself getting lazy. So, I mean, this has really helped me just kind of get out of that funk of not, um, just it being slow because it was slow for me for a minute. But I ain't gonna lie, the dog is tired. I just need at least like 2 days, 2 or 3 days to myself just to do absolutely nothing. Like I don't want no phone
I
calls.
hope you
I
don't
don't even
work on
want
your
no
birthday. I know you took a couple months away, but prepare.
phone. I will if I get my teeth done. I don't care. I need my money back. But no, I
Okay,
mean,
points was made.
shoot. I told you my focal point is the teeth done. I don't care
Yeah.
about nothing else. If other stuff happen, if I go on a trip, if I have a dinner, if I whatever, that's cool. But that is not my focal point. I really want to just get my teeth done.
Okay, well, I'll meet you halfway through the country if you want to go out of town.
Let's go back to Costa Rica. Costa
Mm-mm.
Rica is. I'm just playing now. You
You
know
know,
what's so
Vegas is
crazy?
the first place I went to twice. Well, technically, I went to San Jose twice, California, but I always say I don't want to fly to the same place more than once. So now I can't go back to Vegas ever.
Oh wow, I've been to Vegas 3 times. I
I've
went
been to LA
for
too many times too, so I'm not coming out there either. I This is what I do. I'll go to San Diego and then drive up, but
drive down.
I can't use the same airport more than once. So really, in San Jose, I flew into
Girl,
San
just
Fran the
fly in
first time.
Burbank then, if that's the
Okay,
case.
that made me feel different. I know it's stupid, but anyways, all right, let's wrap this thing up. I got to take my dog out. I got to go to bed. I got some melatonin gummies to help me adjust to this time change because it happens every time when I'm since I've been working from home. It's been hard to adjust to time changes because it's just
So you just be up.
up to like 3 a.m.
Oh
Yeah, it's
no, me
terrible.
too though, honestly. But I like that because I hate going to sleep early. It make I feel like I miss everything.
Well, I'm a 9 to 5er. Okay.
That's very true. Enjoy your 5
Anyways, all right, y'all. It's been another episode of OD Podcast. Holla at your girl
and your twirl.
and your world and your
Mm-hmm.
pearl and your
Boo,
burl.
yeah, bufanta.
All right, bye.
Bye.